You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
It's Monday evening, and you're listening to Jo and Gemma on the Supernaturelle show.
Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of the Supernaturelle show. You are joined by myself, Gemma, and tonight we're missing one. Jo's not with us tonight. She's had an emergency come up, so she's had to disappear off. So unfortunately, it is just me. So Jo, if you're listening, I hope everything's okay. And don't leave me again, that's just rude. But tonight, ladies and gents, we have the wonderful Racheal Darby from GCUK South East. Good evening, Racheal.
Hello, my lovely. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well, thank you.
It's been a while, Rach.
Oh, well, you know, old Mrs. D had to go and regather herself a little bit.
Well, sometimes needs must, eh?
I had to go and find all my dowsing rods and put them all back in my box.
On a dowsing rod hunt. So how are you? How have you been?
Really good, really good. I did take a year or so out. That was due to personal reasons. But in that time, I did spend some time on myself. I've been sort of learning a lot more. I've been doing workshops. I've been reading. Check me out. I've been reading.
What, like an actual book, Rach?
Yeah, with no pictures.
No, I don't believe you.
Us girls, we can read a book with words in and no pictures. But no, I've been doing a lot of meditating because as you know, Gem, but I lost my nan very suddenly back. It was a Good Friday last year, and that it completely, you know, obviously I've had you know, bereavement and loss, and I've lost some good friends and some fantastic family over the years, but my nan. You know, they say that you've got that connection. And it was my dad's mum many, many years ago. She died when I was younger. And it was her that really woke me up to this. And so with my nan going, I had so much expectations and believing and doing what I do. There were so many things that I had to personally deal with. And I'll be honest with you, Jem, it made me question, why do I do this? You know? So I did. I withdrew myself back. I said, look, guys, I'm really sorry. The team were, oh, my God, the team are fantastic. I could not wish for a more fantastic team. And I know a lot of the guys are listening. So, hi, guys.
Hi, everyone.
But
get in the chat room. Come and say hello.
Yeah, get in the chat room. But, you know, Jen, they were fantastic. They were so supportive. And that's what that's all about, you know, the team. So they've all been there. But myself, I pulled myself away. Been doing my meditation, and I'm feeling good. Mrs. D is back in the house.
So you've got good vibes now after the meditation. Was you working? You know, you said you was working on yourself. Any other areas that you was working on? Like obviously the meditation. What about the spiritual side?
Well, this is the thing, because you know, you hear so many stories, you know, about when a loved one passes, and you know, you open the window and you look to the left corner, and some people say to the right corner, and you bow your head and this and that. And you know, my nan, bless her, she wasn't very well, but she was like Tinkerbell. I always thought she'd go on and on and on. Oh. But I always have in the back of your mind, you know, what would I do in that instance if something like that happened? And it happened, and we've been there all night long. And there were things that I expected to happen that didn't happen, and that was what made me question myself. And I thought, no, I'm not disbelieving it. Because
was it when you say that there was things that didn't happen that you expected? Did you have like a little plan with your
Oh
nan
my
or
God,
something?
yeah, because it all happened so very quickly. So that we got into A&E about 1 o'clock in the morning. We were told at 4 o'clock in the morning she basically wasn't going to make it. So I personally dealt with stuff myself because I had to be the strong one of the family and what have you. So I did separate myself a great deal. And I know a lot of people that know me know that, Mrs. D, ex-Red Coat, she puts on a show. I really had to put on a show, and I really had to stay strong for my mum. But I made myself conscious and aware of where I was, what was going on. But I kind of went into a little bit of a meditated state. And this is what made me really pull back and think, you need a lot more. You need to, sort of look around things a lot differently, because I was expecting to see my granddad and he wasn't there. And I didn't even sense him. And I sat there and I thought, oh my God, of all people, I really thought he would have come back and gone, it's all right, Rach, I'm here now. But there was nothing, Gem. And
was there anybody? Did you sense anybody? Because when somebody dies, like I've my history in healthcare anyway, so that I've spent a lot of time holding people's hands while they're dying. And a lot of the time, you could feel a presence in the room, almost as if somebody was, coming to collect them.
Yes, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting my granddad, and but as we were there over the evening, I did sense people around and all the rest of it. But I was really deeply upset, and it really did crush me. So that's when I sat there and I thought, Rach, it is all there. They are all there. It's just, you just was not in the right frame of mind. And it was like putting real big expectations on, and it was my granddad's decision if that's what he wanted. But so that's why I went back, and I kind of started all again with the meditation, with looking at myself, with doing things a lot differently. And you know what, oh my days, I will tell you this though, right? On Saturday we had a little bit of a gathering. Well, I've really been meditating an awful lot lately, and I have been walking around with me like with a bit of a beam up, and I've because I really want to get back into that side of things. And so we had a few drinks, had the neighbours round, had a few friends round. Well, I had a few too, like Sambuca was my friend.
Oh, not like you, Rach.
Oh yeah, and it was just a floodgate, an absolute floodgate, and I was coming out with so much stuff. And I was like, I'm so sorry. But there is so much that is now coming to me, and I understand a lot more why things didn't happen when I expect them to happen, and I don't expect much myself now.
Don't you think sometimes, though, that you need a break from the whole paranormal?
You've got two aspects there. You haven't got just the paranormal side, the spiritual side of things. You've also got the guest side of things. You've got the location side of things. You've got everything else. And to be honest with you, when I was going through all that, I just really I was not in the right frame of mind. And it wasn't fair on the guests, because I didn't feel that I could give them my full 100%. I wanted to do it, but myself, I wasn't in the right frame of mind. I wouldn't have been able to give my guests what I do give, and that's 100% on my nights. But Jem, what has gone on with the locations? I've been out a year, and it's like,
I wondered if we was going to get onto this.
Do you know? I'm like, oh my God, they're going to be asking for like my dress size.
Oh yeah, and honestly, the prices have skyrocketed, haven't they?
I know that a lot of teams, this has been in a massive discussion, because I have kept within the paranormal world on Facebook and what have you, and I've been seeing so many discussions, and the same thing keeps coming up. These locations are closed, guys. Now, no disrespect, and we really thank you from the bottom of our hearts letting us go in here. Gem, a lot of the locations think we're absolute loony bins and crazies, but
to be fair, they're not quite far wrong, are they, really?
Well, but it's not certified. But the thing is, you speak to their staff, a lot of their staff are interested and have had personal experiences. So they're whopping all these prices up. We don't even use the electric. It's not a problem. Give us a bucket. And
we don't use your heating. We don't use your electric.
No.
What are we paying for other than the upkeep of the location?
Well, this is it. But I was sad to see a few locations coming off the radar.
So which ones are you missing at the minute then? Because obviously, well, not obvious. Well, it might be to some, because you have got a bit of an accent going on, Rach. And, you have, love. You have, yeah. And I have too. So, we're at different parts of the country. So what locations are you missing?
Well, there's a location, there's all sorts of locations down here that have all changed hands. Locations within our local councils, who you get somebody in one year, they're all excited and let's do it. And you submit all this paperwork, then you get somebody else who doesn't believe in it all, that thinks it's going to draw real bad attention and publicity to the location. So it's not just one particular. Jen, there's loads. We've had quite a few recently up this way that are shutting down to paranormal investigations, and if they're not shutting down, the price increase has gone through the roof, that it just means that smaller teams cannot afford it. This is the thing, and you can't actually, people, I see again, and you've just made reference there, the small teams, the big teams. We're all doing the same thing. It doesn't matter how big your followers are. It doesn't matter how big your team is, what equipment you've got. As long as you're working with truth and honesty, then, we're all working on the same page.
And that's the fundamentals of it right there. Truth and honesty. You will never, ever find me faking anything, for the simple reason it's not what I'm about. If something happens, great, it happens. If it doesn't, not my problem. There's nothing I can do about it.
I get so very embarrassed, and this is a thing that I strongly say on the team, and I say with the guys, people want to come out with this. They have their own expectations of how their night is going to go. Now, if you can't guarantee paranormal activity, I don't care who you are, what you are, or what certificates you've managed to download off of the computer. I congratulate you for doing that, because I have enough trouble switching it on.
But well done on finding that download button. How did you do it? Talk me through it.
But you just I've gone off track now, Gem. Where was it going with this? No, they had their own expectations of how their night wants to go. And like I say, we can't guarantee paranormal activity. But at the end of the day, if somebody wants to stand there looking comfortable with a set of dowsing rods and wants to do a little bit of a helicopter motion, sweetheart, you crack on with it. I will stand there and I will humour you, but I will actually get embarrassed and I will actually walk away, because there's no need to fake that. Gem, I've worked with you a number of years, my lovely, and it's sod's law that you've never got a camera, you've never got a hand recorder or anything else. But Gem, we've experienced things. You've experienced things. I've experienced things. We've experienced it together, and I'm sure a number of your listeners as well have experienced things, but they've got no proof. What gets me is the fact that you have to prove till you're blue in the face.
Yeah.
And that's what
a lot of paranormal experiences are personal.
Of course they are. Yes, it's your own interpretation of things. But a lot of people that work with spirit, that's what, at the beginning when I said I had to draw away and find myself and meditate and relearn myself, because when I was on investigations, the equipment was taking that away so much and people are so fixated. But then you've downloaded it. You fiddled. No. There is a tool set over there. Feel free to go through the equipment. It's not a problem. And when we have, we do have mediums coming out. I don't class myself as a medium. I do work with spirit. But when you're coming out with something, and then, for instance, the Ovulus, we've got Obvious 3 on the team, and that comes through with words that are relating, to what's happening at the time. You can't interfere with that thing. And what annoys me is we are always having to explain ourselves, but because it's technology, they can just say, oh, well, it's this, it's that. And they never skeptics, a few skeptics I've spoken to recently, they can't back up what they're saying, but it's only because they can back it up because it's technology. That makes sense.
You see, completely. Yeah, I mean, you have this in every platform, don't you? You know, if it's not on about the equipment side of things, it's the same with researching. You know, people are like, well, you have to do this to research, you have to do that to research. Yeah. Well, actually, you don't. You can literally find out everything you need to know about a location without visiting it. At no point do you have to go. You can ring people from the comfort of your own home.
Yes.
You can speak to people through emails, internet, whatever. You know, there is ways and means of doing stuff, especially when it comes to research, that means that you don't have to actually visit.
But I find that a lot of teams don't actually do, the
research.
They
not
don't...
properly. No. They'll have a quick look online and it'll come up a brief history, or a lot of the times it's not actually facts either.
See, what I like to do within my team is, we've got the girls that do the research and what have you. So they do the research beforehand. Anybody else on the team, if they want to know anything about it, they do. I don't want to know nothing about the location. If we're revisiting, then obviously I know about the location. So I go back. I try and get what we had before and see if we can progress through that, because we are an investigation team. But we like to have all the team then on the night or the week after the night out, they all put their reports in of their nights, what happened, where they was, if there's any video footage or anything that gets accompanied along, then the girls cross-reference and have a look. And that is for public, that is for location as well. Anybody can ask for, our reports, our findings, and if it's a location that's been revisited, then, there's quite a lot there. And we're
quite in depth.
Yeah, because...
But not a lot of teams do that either, H. Not a lot of teams... I'm going to put my teeth in and try that one again. Not a lot of teams actually do a report for after the event.
See, there's always different ways of working, and I understand a lot of teams work totally differently. I don't know, sort of categorizing people. It's not about that. It's just I feel that there are some people that are doing this for shits and giggles. I feel that there's other people out there doing this because they think there's some fame and there's some fortune in with it. And then you've got the other guys who haven't probably been heard about, but have been to several locations, have got reports, have had personal experiences, but they're not really bothered with. But they are the teams. They're the guys to be speaking to, because they look at the location. They know what they're doing. And just because they're not on Instagram, just because they're not doing lives every 5 minutes, it doesn't mean that. And I don't know if I really should say this, but the thing is with old Mrs. Day, what you see is what you get. Right?
I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Well, just like me. Nothing like a bit of controversial subjects coming up.
I had my radio show for quite a number of years. I never got shut down, so it was all right. But, just because you've got 1,000 followers, 2,000 followers, 3,000, you're getting God knows how many viewers on your live. Congratulations, well done. But how many locations have you done?
Yeah.
Where did you get your certification from? This is a new thing, Jem. What is it with the certification?
Oh, mate, I've had one for years. I'm not even going to lie. Yeah. Oh,
my God, I'm so unprofessional.
Seriously, right, about 10 years ago, there was all this parapsychology diplomas going around. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to give it a go. So I did. I literally did.
As well.
I'm not. No, I am ordained, though, so I can give you a wedding. No, I'm not really. I'm not really. I promise I'm not.
Oh, God.
But I did actually do a parapsychology course just because I wanted to see what it was all about.
Yeah.
So I did it. As you do.
Did you do this online?
Oh yeah, I did it online. It took me all of 20 minutes, and I've now got a certificate with letters I can put after my name. I have.
So you 20 minutes.
Honestly, I'm not kidding. It took me 20 minutes
So
to
what
do
are you? So what are you qualified to do then, Gem? This is like.
Well, absolutely nothing, Mrs. D. What, like you just said, what you see is what you get. I am not going to say that I am anything other than what I am.
See, I want to get deeper, lady, because what you just said, I am what I am, Lady Derby.
Just pop and change your name.
Yeah, I will. Can you imagine? Lady Derby.
I have just pulled up my certificate now, actually, as we speak, and it quite clearly states on it that I am entitled to use the letters O.A.dip. So I'm not going to use the OA dip because I don't want to be known as a dip.
Oh, bird. I'm very proud of you, though. Well done for doing that. Well done.
The things you do just because you want to know what it's all about, eh?
But see, you can just go on the internet and just, download and that, there's been a debate this week or last week on one of the Facebook pages, and they were saying, about all these people now that are, qualified in being an investigator, and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, because you can do investigator courses as well, can't you? Now,
oh my God, I am just like, I've been so out of it, and then I'm like, oh my days, have I got to go and get registered? Have I got to go and then I'm thinking, do I have to have one of them bomber jackets? And do I have to get a hearse with a wee woo on top? And like, I'm thinking, oh my God.
I won't say no to a hearse. Think of all the stuff you could get in the back of that. You'd never be stuck for space again, would you?
Oh, you wouldn't. But I will say, it was nice when we came back as a team. It was nice to see a lot of the old faces. I
was just going to say, did you notice, because you had a year off, just over a year, you had that time off. Did you notice that there was a massive change in the teams that were out there, and
there
new
was
teams springing up?
Oh my days, there's been several new teams that I've noticed have popped up, and I just want to throw it out there that I am part of the Para Unity sort of society, guys.
What is Para Unity? Let's get right down to this, right? Because this is one thing that drives me absolutely potty. You hear it all the time, people saying Para Unity. Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
do you know the truth?
They only come here when they want something.
No, do you know the truth? Do you know my true feeling of Para Unity is the fact that we are all doing things. We're all combined as a team. We are all working towards getting that evidence, getting that footage and proving that there is things out there. Then you've got, like I said earlier, I'll throw it out there. You've got the money makers, you've got the shits and giggles ones, and the ones that keep quiet, that aren't in all the squabbles, that aren't in the the hashtag wars and all the rest of it. You can go to them and you can say, look, I can't fill this location. I don't want, and because you get humiliated, it's like a bloody, it's like stepping into a playground. I will not be afraid to say, listen, I am so sorry, but this location really isn't selling. Do you want to throw it out there and see if you guys want to come and join us? And it's working as a team, and that's what it's all about, Gemma. It's helping one another out, but it's also about supporting one another, because I've clicked onto a few new teams and I've chatted and I've gone onto their lives and you can really tell the ones that are too good to be speaking to the likes of me. And
but what do you mean by that? Because I don't. I get
because
where
they've
you're
got
coming
letters
from.
after their name, because they are, I can't say too much, but no, it's, I've never, see, I've always stayed about, even though I did come off, I don't like calling it a circuit, but when I came off the roundabout, of the fun paranormal roundabout, when I stepped off, it didn't mean that I completely stepped off the face of the earth. So I was still around, and I still was seeing things. And so I was noticing new teams popping up. I was noticing the teams that were like struggling and that, you know, were generally trying to do their best and all the rest of it. And, you know, because you know what people are like. And yeah, these new teams that have popped up, they're not interested. They don't want to know. And it's just like, well, you know, if I can ever help you out, I don't know. I'm not saying I know more than you. I'm not saying I'm better than you. You know, we can learn from you. You know, if there's anything you can learn from us. It's all about learning and about seeing how people work. You know, you've got some piece of equipment. You might use it differently to us. And we do something that you didn't even know it could do. In that respect. You know,
exactly.
Take away
I mean, I'm always
side.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know what I'm like anyway, Rach. You've known me for long enough now.
Oh God, yeah.
I will go work with other teams. I haven't got an issue with any of that. If somebody messaged me and said, "Are you free?" I could do with some extra staff or...
Well, I've done it to you, Jen. You know, bless your heart, you travelled down to Rochford, you know, to sunny Essex, you know what I mean?
So, I know, it weren't so sunny, was it? It was dark and
but
cold.
It was a good night, though.
It was a good night. It was.
A good night.
But yeah, I mean, I will help anybody. If somebody needs help, then yeah, by all means, I will go, because isn't that what we're here for?
Exactly. But you have to you have to build up a rapport with people. You have to put yourself out there, and you have to, you know, chat with one another, and, you know, and that's how you build the kind of family. You know people up and down the country the same as I do. Just, you all work together. It's like, oh, you know, I've done this. Oh, have you tried that? Have you tried this? You know, and all these different things and the different ways of working. And
communication isn't hard, is it?
No, but there's some teams that just bang, this is how we do it, not interested, and you're just like, oh, okay, no drama, it's all right, okay, no worries. It's
the same when you have new guests coming on as well, isn't it? You know, if you get somebody that's never been with your group before, and especially if they're coming on their own, because a lot of people do that these days. They just disappear off on their own.
Yeah, too right.
Yeah. How daunting must that be to walk into a place with people that you don't know to go on a ghost hunt?
See, we welcome that, and a lot, and in response to that and how I work and how the team works, all of our guests message the team. If they want to book on to a location or what have you, they message us on the Facebook page, and we start building a rapport there. It's, you know, how I talk is how I am. You know, some people are like, oh, you're a little bit familiar. Others are like, oh, you're a bit cockney. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not going to put a pretense on, because as soon as you put pretense on, that's when you start becoming fake.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing about me that's fake. So yes, I may, you know, talk as though my mother is standing behind me. But, you know, we welcome our guests, and we have a lot of the guys that are regulars that come out with us. They started off coming out on their own, and they've just made friends while being out with us. And then they've made friends, and they come back again together, and they say, oh, you know, you're meeting up. And that's so lovely to see when you get back from an investigation, because not only have we had an personal experience, you know, had a fantastic night, you know, some people, they've made new friends, and they call themselves the paranormal friends. And it's really lovely, and that's what it's all about. It's about sharing it all together, and, you know, doing it all together. As we said, you know, the price of the locations, you know, a lot of teams out there are being accused of, you know, making money when they're saying they're non-profit. Listen, when they say they're non-profit and they're charging prices, it's because the location is so expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've both been in this field for, we'll say, a number of years, Rach.
Yeah.
we'll go with that one.
Birthday coming up soon. I'm trying to deal with that. And I've lost my blonde as well. I've totally lost my blonde. I'm not blonde anymore. I am now a very dark brown because I found a grey hair. So yeah, but I don't want to talk about it. So yes, we've been working as a number of years.
Yeah, see that you've lost me now. Look, now I'm like, oh bless you, mate. I'm with you on the grey hair. I found one too. Well, I didn't. My hairdresser did. I was like, oh, Marie, get me some hair dye on it now, quick.
You are not my friend.
I did like that lady. Now I'm just traumatized. Where was I going, Rach? Where was I going? What was we on about?
The locate. Oh, I've totally lost it now as well.
See, all it takes is a grey hair and we've lost the plot.
I know. No, we have. We've been doing this for a number of years.
So
now.
and we've obviously seen a lot of the locations change over the years. Some for the better, some not so much. Mm-hmm. If there was one thing that you could change about the locations, what would it be?
I'll bring them all closer to me home.
Yeah. Can you just pick up and move it over here? Thank you kindly.
Bring it over here, please. No, do you know the only thing that I would possibly change about all the locations is, just to be honest with you, is the price.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the price. You know, we've been to some fantastic locations, and me as a manager of a team have had experiences at these locations. I want to go back and personally prove it, but I've also got it either video footage or, you know, recording or something I've played to somebody, and I want to go back and see if I can recreate that. You know, see if we can get that back, see if we can, you know, sort of see if we can debunk it really. But the prices, I cry. I'm like,
some of them are shocking. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that a lot of locations rely on the money that the paranormal teams pay for hire to keep the place up and running. But yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got Hellfire Caves coming up, haven't you? You know, how much was that to hire now? Because the last time I hired it for the full night, and it was about 1,800.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Gem, Adra, I'm really disappointed at how locations are with teams now, because if it wasn't for our crazy ways and going in there, and if it wasn't for word of mouth, these locations wouldn't have crazy people like us going into them. So, you know, when we're hiring a location, you know, you have to, I don't know about anybody else, perhaps I have done things wrong over the years and somehow I've winged it. But, you know, you book the location, you pay a small, you know, deposit of the actual price, which is fine. And then you sell your spaces. And then a month before, you pay in full. Right?
Yep.
Wrong?
Yep.
No, they want everything up front. And I'm like, hang on, you know, I've booked with you guys many times in the past. You know, there's been no problems. No, it's across the board. It's how it is now. And a lot of the locations, Jen, they were wanting like £1,000, £500 up front, straight bang. I'm like, are you? And then I got told, well, you shouldn't sell spaces until you've actually got, you know, the money to pay for the location. Well, how am I supposed to pay for the location if I don't sell the spaces?
See, this is it, isn't it? You know, a lot of locations, or the way I've always done it, is pay a deposit.
Yes.
Once you've paid your deposit, you can advertise.
Yeah.
Because that location is secure.
Yes.
If you have no bookings, the way I've always done it, and you know this, Rach, because you know how I work. If I had no bookings, I would still pay for that location, and I would still go with me, my team, on whatever team was willing to come that night. And that is how I've always worked it.
Yeah, well, that's how other teams work it, surely, isn't it? You know?
Well, you would like to think so, wouldn't you? But there's so many different perspectives, if you like?
Do you know what? Overall, Gem, it has taken the fun away from actually opening these locations up, doing reports on these locations, investigating these locations, meeting new people. It has taken the fun away because, you know, you have to have this, and it's no problem with the paperwork. I'm quite happy to do the, you know, the risk assessment, health and safety, you know, and a lot of the locations, they want to know our intentions, you know.
Yeah.
So I've got all this paperwork that's drafted up, and it's not a problem because I had to do it that time for when we went to the disused London Underground station. So I just updated it. But, you know, I'm finding a lot of the locations are now doing this. Is there something that I've missed? You know, has something happened? Has, you know, because I felt really personal about it.
I know. I just think it is just the way the world's going now. It's a where there's a blame, there's a claim, isn't it?
Frightens the life out of me.
Yeah, but it's true that, you know, that's just the way that the world is these days, and it's frightening. Or like maybe we're just getting older.
Shh. We don't use the word. No. We're getting wiser. We get wiser.
We're getting wiser then. We're getting wiser. We'll go with that. Yeah, we're getting wiser. That's what's occurring.
That's it. We're getting wiser.
Not so sure that's a good thing, in all fairness.
But no, it's you know, it's great to be back. I can't wait to get back out to the location, see our guests. We had a few locations back end of last year. We was at Harwich.
I was just going to say, actually, you had a few events booked, didn't you? How did they go?
It was, they was absolutely fantastic. Harwich, I always find with Harwich, it's either all or nothing. So you can't really go, oh, you know, we're going to be, this happened last time, so this is, you can't have expectations with Harwich. You know, it's either going to happen or it's not going to happen. But it's always a fantastic location. And then we actually got invited to go and investigate a spiritualist church just up the road from myself. Yeah. And that was really, really interesting, because obviously being a spiritual church, it's you know, they do healing there. You know, they're regularly opening up to spirit and what have you. They platform mediums there and services and what have you, and it is so full of love. And I've attended there many times before, and it's just so lovely to walk in there. It's so nice. And throughout the evening, we was actually having family members coming through, and a lot of the electrical handheld devices just wasn't being used. But the pendulum, the dowsing rods, you know, we found that was a lot more interactive than the actual equipment. Yeah, and you know, with me with equipment, I don't get it, you know. And my argument when it comes to the equipment is, you know, I am my equipment. I don't want all of that. But if I can't understand how that equipment works, then how on earth are the spirits of the locations going to know? Because we go to these locations that are hundreds and hundreds of years old. You know, they've, you know, dependent on what timeline you're working on and what have you, you know, they're not going to know what a light bulb is, let alone what a funny little handheld device that's beeping and shouting and flashing and fucking doing all these other weird and wonderful things. You know, how are they going to know how it works if I haven't got a clue how it works? So, you know, I'm a bit, so when we was at the church, it was lovely to just go back to basics, use the pendulum, use the dowsing rods and all the rest of it. But yeah, we've got actually Harwich coming back up on the 16th of March. So we're fully booked out on that one, and we're heading back to Hellfire Caves.
Hellfire, I love Hellfire.
Oh, me too. Weird place, really weird. It was totally different when we was there, Gem. It was totally different to when I was there the first time.
Yeah.
But it was still had that real eerie, dark sort of, it was just, it makes me skin crawl just thinking about it. But I'm so excited.
See, and this is why we do what we do, innit? Because we love it.
Yeah. You know, it's the experiences that you have, and you know, when something happens, and you know, we do look into it. If it means having to crawl under a table or shimmy behind a wall, or you know, sort of look further into something. If we can debunk something, we will. But if we can't explain it, then, do you know what I mean? It just gets your heart racing a little bit more.
Exactly. And that's exactly what it is. You know, it's, can you explain it? Can you logically find an explanation for something that's been happening? And if the answer is no, if you've gone through everything, if the answer is no, then there's only one thing left, isn't there?
That's it.
I'm choking away now. I'm sorry. Do apologise.
You're fine. You're fine. But no, it's all, you know, really exciting. We've got a lot of big plans for next year, but we'll just have to wait and see how this year goes. It's a matter of, you know, once you've done your year, I think you then know whether you want to carry on with it. And at this moment in time, I've still got the paranormal itch, but it's just the whole stresses and strains that go with it, Jen.
Are you still doing the team only events as well? You know, where you and the team just pop off out and...
It's very difficult for us to pop out, and I get very jealous of everybody else because a lot of the guys, they work in the evening. If they're not working, their husbands are working. You know, my husband, he works every night. He gets called in at random times, so it's hard enough for us to get a team meeting together, let alone getting an outing out. But we are heading to the Balmoral Centre just up the road from us in Westcliff on Thursday. There's been it's like a bit of a UFO group, but a paranormal, just everything, because all of that comes onto really one big umbrella, doesn't it? You know,
yep.
Everything together. So, excuse me.
You're joking now.
I know, isn't it? Tea's a bit dry around here. This is what the problem is.
Yeah, you see, I've got that same problem.
So they've got this one big umbrella, and so they've pulled everything together, and they actually contacted me, and we've been chatting, and they've actually asked me if I would go on board with them, just to branch out into the paranormal side, and we're actually there on Thursday to give a bit of a talk on who we are, what we do, where we've been, what our experiences are, and I think it'd be really interesting to actually go out with the UFO guys, because it's not really something I've ever really thought about. UFOs. I don't see how they can be connected, really. I'm going to sound so blonde here. How they can be connected. You can hear the concentration in my voice, can't you? You think,
the worst thing is, I think I can already guess what's going to come out your mouth.
Right, can you stop me before I look even more banana? But no, I don't, because that's a realm of its own. That is completely separate to the paranormal side, because what we're investigating is the paranormal, the living that walked this earth plane, not funny looking people with spangly fingers.
But then shapeshifters, demons.
Now, see, is that not black magic?
Well, I think that's open for debate there, in all fairness.
Oh my God,
that's a whole other show on its own. What the difference is between paranormal and UFOs.
Don't make the blonde one confused.
You see, I am thinking, Rach, we might have to do a whole other show just on what the differences are, to be fair, love.
Well, bless her.
I think everybody in the chat room just bless that Racheal. Bless her.
But but no, so we've been invited along, to those guys, and we're going to be working alongside those guys, and they're going to be learning from us. We're going to be learning from them.
So have they done the spiritual side of things as well as the UFO then, or do they just focus on the UFO?
Well, they've got a few guys that are sort of mediumship, that class themselves as mediums and what have you, and that's where I get confused with like UFO side of things. So I'll be interested to hear what they've got to really hear how that works, and just to hear more about it and to educate myself a bit more, because the thing is with me, if you haven't already guessed, if I'm doing one thing, I have to keep doing that because I get very confused otherwise. So, and it's easily done. So I go on a bit of a tangent, and when I'm doing something, I solely look into that. So it'd be really good to educate myself and see a little bit more, because when I had my radio show, we talked about UFOs, and we talked about loads of different things, and and I have my own little theories on it, but that is a whole nother show, and maybe a bottle of wine.
Oh, definitely a bottle of wine, definitely. I mean, especially because, like you say, you used to do the radio too. When you have to do research for a show, it can be very in depth as well, can't it? So it's not like tonight we're just sat having a gossip. Really, we're having a catch up that we've not had in forever.
Tonight, really, haven't you, Ben?
I know, right?
You haven't even done no research on me. You can't say, "Oh, I found this out about your age." I'll be like, "There's no skeletons coming out my closet tonight." Crack on, Jem.
Look, when you've known each other as long as we've known each other, I don't really think there's that many skeletons to come out to you.
You're holding them back for me, love. Don't worry about it. No, it's the same goes to when you're doing investigations. But I don't do the research for the investigations. But when I was doing the radio shows, I'll be honest with you, Jem, a lot of it was my kind of, because myself and Claire, we done the radio show, and we bounced off each other, and we were both kind of the same sort of people. So I used to say to her, look, I want to chat about this. She'd be like, yeah, crack on. And she'd go and do her research, and I'd go and do mine. But I used to find it so difficult and so hard because I am dyslexic. So, blonde, Essex, dyslexic, paranormal investigator, speaks to dead people, drives a Subaru, have to drop that in there. I haven't really got much going for me. So when I'm having to educate myself on these big words and, using big words, and that's why I'm like, look, guys, what you see is what you get. I'm not going to make out I know what I'm talking about. I'll be honest with you. And obviously, I wouldn't say this to the guests, but a lot of our guests, they knew me anyway from, chatting, and random guys. Oh, God, my mind's gone blank right now. The Jack the Ripper, and Mark Richardson, having to research into Mark, that was so much fun. And to talk to him and have his book there as well. So I did make things easier for myself with regards to my dyslexia and knowing about people. But it was fun. It was interesting, and finding out how other people work and how they got into, their line of work. I remember speaking to a lady over in America. She was a young girl, and she was a full-blown demonologist. Yeah. And I think she was only about sort of 25 at the time. And I say to her, what on earth do your friends think? Like, obviously you're young, you go out. She said, you know what? They just let me get on with it. She said, they just let me get on with it. She said, but it's just something. And I was like, and finding out how she got into it and, all of that side of things. And I just, as you probably guess, I just love talking and I love finding out.
Oh, I don't believe you for 2 minutes.
I know. But finding out how other people tick and how other people get into their line of what we all do, it's just interesting. It's all good fun.
It's building new relationships as well, isn't it? New friendships, and you never quite know where it's going to go, which is always a bonus. I mean, I've met some of my best friends through the paranormal.
Yeah, definitely. I've met you, Gem, for a start.
Well, somebody has to, don't they? Somebody has to meet me and put up with me.
Do you remember our first night though, Gem?
Vaguely. you've got to think, how many years ago was that? And it was a whole different world then, because I was working with those who shall not be named, and
yes, me
it
too,
was horrific.
Yes, but did you not fall out the back of the van with curry sauce all over you?
Oh God, was that the first time we met?
I'm sure it was that the second time, but then it was just curry sauce Gem after that.
Oh dear,
that was awful. She had burns. She turns up at this location, and Gem, do everybody know what you're like with layers? Honestly, you thought an onion had so many layers. No, Gemma will outdo, mate. She doesn't smell like an onion, but she does so many layers. She turned up at location.
I don't like to get cold.
Well, with curry sauce all over her, so she's had to strip down. Well, you couldn't even strip down, could you? Because it was your leggings, your jeans, your tights, your third pair of tights, everything.
Yeah, the curry sauce was that hot that it actually melted through. It had gone through my jeans, my leggings and tights, and it had actually burnt my thighs.
Yeah. And you had to work like that all night.
And the next night.
Yeah.
So I did a full weekend with massive burns on my thighs, and then came home on the Sunday, went to the doctors on Monday and had to be bandaged, didn't I?
I tell you, she don't do things by half, but she always follows it through.
Oh, yeah, and that is a bonus. At least I stick it out. It doesn't matter what pain I'm in, I stick it out till the very end.
This is it. So have you been out investigating?
I have, yes. I was at Saltmarsh Hall last weekend. So that was amazing. I had a really good night. It was a bit quiet on the activity front, but it's the whole meeting new people again, isn't it? And
I think that plays a massive, great big part, because you've got so many energies and so many sort of different characters, and I love having new guys coming out with us, but I don't know, it's just all that the energy and having to adapt. That's how I am anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you do have to adapt, but the meeting new people bit for me, that's why I do the event side of it in the first place, because I'm like you, I can talk to anybody and I love to waffle, so meeting new people is always good. When I'm focusing more on my knowledge and my self-improvement, then I'll do team only or a private investigation. So I still do the both, because that's the way it's got to be done. But I was at Saltmarsh Hall. I did Hack Green Nuclear Bunker with Dave, who's in the chat room. Hi, Dave. Actually,
Dave.
I think we need to run through the chat room, actually, Rach, because there's lots of people in the chat room. So we've obviously got Boss Lady Kerry, we've got Ian. Hi, Ian. We've got
Ian.
Daz Miller. Hi, Daz.
Hey, Daz, you right, mate?
Dave Harasny. Hi, Dave.
Hey.
Ian, I've done Ian. We've got Mr. Ashley Nib. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Who else have we got? Oh, there's lots of comments in the chat room, Rach.
Oh, my God.
It's been very, very busy in the chat room.
Like, get her off.
We have.
I don't know what she talked about.
We have the lovely Gary Fields. Hi, Gary.
Oh, Gary. How you doing, my darling?
We also have the beautiful Philip Fowler, all the way from Ireland. Hi, Phil.
Oh, Phil.
Phil says, hello, Mrs. D.
Hello. We partied together, myself and Phil.
You did what?
We went, I'm sure we did, didn't we, Phil? We went and partied together. We did. We went to, oh my God, I've been asleep since then. Where did we go?
You went, we've also got Richard Clements. Hi, Richard.
Hey, good evening.
The chat room has been extremely busy tonight. So, I mean, at some of when you get a minute, Rach, have a look in the chat room. Kerry has posted a link for GCUK in the chat room as well. So check you out.
Check us out.
Yes, it was Mark's birthday.
That's it. Langard, I'm sure, was we at Langard 4? I can't remember. There was a few sambucas that evening, if I do remember.
Oh,
Fantastic. Having a birthday party, a surprise birthday party at a haunted location. I tell you what, that is every paranormal investigator's dream, isn't it?
I think that would be my dream, actually, if I'm honest. A birthday party in a haunted location. And alcohol.
Well, yeah. Just throw that in for good measures, isn't it?
Can you imagine?
Sod it.
That'd be lethal.
It could make it a little bit exciting, isn't it?
Oh dear. It's the hangovers now, I've got to be honest. I'm all right with the drinking, but the hangovers the next day do tend to kill me off.
Oh, do you know, I'm like another year older this year. I'm not going to go into how old I am because I am having personal issues with that. And I keep saying to my kids, look, guys, you've got to tell mummy when it comes to that point. Because, you know, when you look at people and you're like, babe, there's a time, your time has been and gone. I don't want to be one of them mums, right? So I'm always like, guys, you've got to tell me. They're like, yeah, mum, you're fine. You're fine.
I don't think my kids would tell me, if I'm honest. I think they'd just leave me.
Well, I think the little one, she would stitch me right up.
Yeah,
she would stitch me right up. But my eldest and my boy, they would tell mummy if, you know. But you know, being another year older and you know, sort of, I don't even know where I'm going with this now. I've thought of the alcohol. I
was wondering, but you know,
the alcohol side. Another year older, I can't do the alcohol side anymore. The next day, total write-off. I am worse than on a, you know, like the hangover after an investigation. I get so tired and I'm so drained, but I'm so buzzing, and I get a little bit like that on the alcohol. But oh dear.
It's got to be done. It's got to be done. You've got to let your hair down once in a while.
Oh, you have. But I'm fighting fit, ready to go. I cannot wait.
So what is coming up for GCUK, Rach?
Well, we I'm so
how can people find your tickets, prices?
Right, okie doke. Everything is on Facebook. I've stripped it right back there. We're not using apps for this and apps for that. It's just, you know, we've got the reputation, you know, so we're trustworthy. So what we do is, you find us on Facebook, GCUK South East. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter. But you're better off mainly on Facebook. And you can give us a message through there. All of our locations are on there. We don't have a great deal at the moment because locations, like I said at the beginning, location prices have gone up. And I think to myself, my God, if I don't want to pay these prices, how am I going to expect my guests to pay it? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. But anyway, we have got Harwich coming up on the 16th of March. We have got Hellfire Caves coming up. Is that July? June? I haven't got my book in front of me. I'm so disorganised. And then we've got Kelvedon Hatch, the secret nuclear bunker.
That's not so secret. Don't get me started on that again. They keep calling them secret bunkers, but they're advertised to the hill.
But they were secret at one point. It's just like somebody told the secret, and obviously now it's like not a secret no more.
So when's Kelvedon?
Well, that's in November. And that I'm really looking forward to going back to that place. That place is really quirky. I've been there so many times. I've slept over there. I've stayed up all night long there. And
did you sleep in the bunk beds?
Yeah, I slept in the bunk beds. It was really weird. It was just, I'm a bit funny, right? And I was laying there and I'm thinking, oh my God, how many people have actually slept on this bunk bed? And then I'm thinking, oh my God, how many snotty children have actually slept on this bunk bed? And I'm like, so I went and got all my jacket. I can't deal with germs. I'm not good when I'm ill. And when I've got locations coming up, I'm like, don't want to be ill, because you catch colds.
Yeah.
You know, the locations that we're at, you know, it gets so very cold. But no, I am looking forward to Kelvedon. We've had a number of like really weird things happen there. There was for instance, an American lady's voice that we heard clear as day, but there was no attractions on. And when I mean attractions, you know, a lot of these locations they have, because they are sort of museum-y, aren't they now? Yeah. So they push buttons and, you know, things that might go off sensors and what have you. So we do check and we do have a look around. But there's been a couple of times now where I've heard this lady's voice. And it's so that I've got a reason to go back. So we're back there in November, but I'm hoping to get a few more locations up and announced. I'm just waiting for dates and everything to be confirmed. So just make sure you're on the page and check it out. And if anyone's got any questions or queries or concerns, then don't hesitate to give us a message on GCUK Southeast on Facebook. Ta-da!
Racheal, thank you very much for joining me tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure having a chinwag.
Oh, do you know what, Bird? I really hope I haven't bored everyone, and I really hope I've actually still got, some likers on my Facebook afterwards.
After putting up with me for an hour, you'll be lucky.
Well, for me, gapping on. But no, thank you, Gem, so much for having me on. Everyone, thank you. If you're still here listening, thank you so much for listening. And we hope to see you all very, very soon. We all need a night out, so come out. Let's all go investigating.
This is very true. Guys in the chat room, thank you so much for being so active tonight. For everybody listening, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure as always. If you miss any of the Parasearch Radio shows, you can catch up over on YouTube. Do not forget to click like, share and subscribe, guys. So from myself, it's a very, very good night. Good night, Racheal.
Good night, Jen. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.